now the whole world has heard a whole lot more about Diddy than most of us ever wanted to hear about Diddy, including all the greasy stuff, right? And we've all formed our own opinions too, right? At trial, of course, the only opinions that mattered were those in the jury box, and we know where those landed. And then came sentencing, where only one opinion mattered, and that was the judge's. But I cannot stop wondering how Diddy's jury feels about the judge's sentence. My next guest was an alternate on Diddy's panel, and while he didn't help decide Sean Combs' fate, he saw every last bit of that evidence, and he heard all of the witnesses and all of the arguments and all of those tapes. He just goes by a first name, understandably. George, welcome back to the show. It's nice to have you, and we will keep your last name under wraps. I can imagine it's probably been a lot since trial. Can I just ask you for your reaction to that sentence today? 50 months, $500,000 in fine, and 5 years supervised release. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it wasn't exactly what I had hoped for, but I understand how the judge got there, and I am glad that justice was served in the end.
Well, what were you hoping for?
I was hoping a little bit more like in line with what the federal guidelines were. Yeah, maybe 5, 6 years around there. I know the judge gave a little bit less. So kind of in the middle, I was kind of hoping for, but still, this is I'm glad that there is some justice and that Sean Combs is going to be having some jail time.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the beginning of the show, I said that the judge brought down a hammer, but he did not bring down a sledgehammer, just a hammer. Maybe that's a good description of where some people feel about this case. I did want to ask you about what we discovered today during sentencing. The prosecutors told the judge that Sean Combs had booked speaking engagements for Miami next week, and the prosecutor said that was the ultimate in hubris. What were your thoughts about that?
No, I would say so too. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how he would even do that, because even if it was the 14 months, still that would be, I think, towards the end of the year. So I'm not sure what he was really thinking on that. But yeah, it does show the arrogance that he thought that he would just get off on this. But I know that, but it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, arrogance is definitely another word for it. I'm also sort of thinking the stupidity, it just seemed crazy to be doing something like that, especially since it got into the hands of the prosecutors and they were allowed to use it in that sentencing hearing. Let me ask you this. Diddy wrote a letter to the judge in which he professed that he was a changed man. Do you, having heard all of that evidence and seen all of those tapes and seen him in court and spent 2+ months of your life adjudicating, what was going to happen to him, do you believe he's a changed man?
I would hope so. He did say that, but he did say this in the past too. I remember, during the trial, reading the text messages and the voice messages. He kept apologizing, saying, "Sorry, this is not going to happen again. I'm not going to do this," and it did happen again. So I would hope now that he's learned his lesson and that he is a changed man, but I don't really know. But I would hope so. His children, I know from listening today, his children said, he's a changed man, but I hope so, but I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he becomes an even more changed man after having to serve more time at a federal institution somewhere to be determined. George, thank you so much for this. I always like to say thank you so much for your service as well. It isn't easy being a juror on a high-profile trial, as is evidenced by you saying, just use my first name, please, not last. But from all of us, we really appreciate you doing that great citizenry and being a juror. I encourage everyone to do it when you get your summons. Thank you, George.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you again.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.